Praise God. You know, God is a good God. Yes, He is. He's a good God. He sure is. And He's a holy God. He's a thorough God. And He's a God that cares about His people. Cares about His people, even though His people don't care about Him. God cares about His people. His people have been, wow, have neglected God throughout history. And this is history, y'all. The Bible's history. I don't care. You can go to all of them libraries and all of that stuff, and you ain't going to find no better history than this. Because, hey, this was the beginning. And it tells also the end. That just goes on and on and on because God's creation never ends. It never really ends. It just becomes, what you say, there are interludes in God's history that takes off into another tangent, another thing. You understand? If you read, man, you said, oh, wow. It's amazing. This book is amazing, man. But we don't take it like that. We take it as with our own little minds, our little earthly mind. But God has given us to want to really see, you know what it is? We want to get so deep within God's universe and his creation that we don't want to get deep in with Him. We want to study His creation more than we want to study the Creator. And I guess you say, well, God don't want us doing this, that. Yeah, but we are trying to figure out everything around that God created, yet we're not trying to figure or trying to, what you say, get in harmony with the Creator. And you can do that. The Native Americans did. The Native Americans was in harmony with the Creator. That's right. The Native Americans was, and I'm glad that I am an ancestor of them. I'm glad. I'm very glad. You know? Because God is magnificent. His word is magnificent. But man, there's so much stuff involved in the miseducation of this book also. But I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to be part of miseducating nobody about this book. I'd rather be struck to not be able to speak, man, rather than teach any lie out of this book. Really, I tell you that. But anyway, God gave me to preach this sermon years ago in Harlem, in a place called Harlem Pentecostal Church. And it might have been the largest audience that I had the privilege or the honor to be among as a speaker. I believe so. Yeah, I believe it was. I believe it was. And it was the 7th chapter of the book of Daniel. Now, you know who Daniel was. Daniel was the one that in the 6th chapter had, and this people funny, that the King Darius had taken Daniel as a favorite of his, right? He had taken him. So I'm going to give you a little background with Daniel and King Darius. The King Darius had taken a favoritism. He was favorite. Him and Daniel had a liking for one another. Put it that way. And when I say liking, I mean a liking, a thing where they respected one another. Not this crazy stuff that goes on now, But they had they were in harmony with each other. And some of Darius's people said, well, they were jealous of Daniel. That's what it was. They were jealous. And they said to themselves, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to get the king. We're going to get the king, man, and we're going to tell him, hey, why don't you, oh king, live forever? See, they wanted to boost him up with that and say, oh king, live forever. I'm reading my way. Y'all can read it your way. It's in the 6th chapter, Daniel. Okay? And they said, hey, oh king, live forever. Live forever, king. And they said, king, well, listen, why don't you make a decree that, because you're the greatest, you're gods. You got God set up. And why don't you make a decree that anybody that for 30 days don't acknowledge your God, that they acknowledge any other God other than yours, any other God. Why don't you make a decree for 30 days that they have to bow down to your God and not theirs? Because they were jealous of Daniel. They knew Daniel was bound with the Hebrew God, the God of the Hebrews. And he prayed 3 times a day at a certain place, certain time. He prayed 3 times a day to the God of the Hebrews. Maybe that's what we should be doing now, to get back to where we were. But anyway, they said, oh, no, well, listen, why don't you make a decree that they can't do that no more. They can't do that because they wanted to get Daniel in trouble. And then they went and told him, after he got him to make the decree and everything, then they went and told him, well, Daniel ain't doing what your decree say. Daniel praying to his God 3 times a day. Anybody that don't do what you say in your decree should be thrown into the lion's den. And man, well, they got the king on a sling down because the king had to throw Daniel in the lion's den. But the king said, he told Daniel, hey, he threw him in the lion's den, but the king knew that Daniel's God was better than anything else. His God was better than all that other stuff, Just like today, the God that we serve, is that same strong God, But we just, how can I say it? We done got way away from that belief. Because we done lost our minds, it looked like, in the earth, the earth. We're earthbound, flesh-driven. So we don't believe that no more. We don't believe like we used to believe. I don't believe like Daniel believed. And at that time, Darius believed too. And Darius was a Medo-Persian king. Get that something? But anyway, when he went and put Daniel in the lion's den, before he went in there, he told him, in the 16th chapter, in the 16th verse, in the 6th verse, 16th chapter, 16th verse, 6th chapter of Daniel. It says here, then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. Now he put Daniel in the lion's den, believing that he was going to be delivered anyhow. And the stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. Ain't that something? This is the king, Darius. And when he came to the boy, when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel, and the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, Daniel's in there laying on the lions like they pillows. And said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. See, Daniel said, O king, live forever for another reason, while them other guys that put themselves in a bind, because I'm going to show you how much in a bind they put themselves in. They said, O king, live forever. Over here in the where did they do this? Okay, where did they say? They said, yeah, there it is, in the 6th chapter, and the 6th verse. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. You know, in other words, you know, you're a bad dude, king. You're a bad dude. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that, king? You know, put a little, yeah, show them how bad you are, king. Show them what you got. Show them what you got, king. But over here, Darius is saying here that after Daniel said, O king, live forever, and Daniel told him, my God have sent his angel and have shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me, for as much as before him. Innocy much as before him, innocy was found in me, and also before thee. O king, have I done no hurt? Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. Listen, Daniel believed in his God. That's what it was. Daniel said, listen, for God I live, for God I die. These lions going to eat me, and let them eat me. You know, let them eat me. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which they had accused Daniel. Now, he's the cats that caused all this old stuff in the first place. And they cast him into the den of lions. Them, listen to this. Them, their children, and their wives, and the lions had the mastery of them and break all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. Boy, you got to be careful what kind of stuff you started with stuff, because it could backfire on you. But that's just that part of Daniel. That's just that part. That's right. That's that part. Yeah, 14 minutes. That's cool.